Good afternoon, peeps. Welcome back. Today I'm coming to you from a lake around my area. Today I thought I'd put the spotlight on myself. You know, as I want to develop this channel to help men who are going through divorce, breakups, just tough times in life. And just to let you know, I'm probably going to be looking back over my shoulder quite often during this video because I've got two slip bobber rigs out back behind me, and I've got fish coming under the boat right now, so I'm going to be watching bobbers here. But today I'm going to share a story that's, you know, something that happened to me here about a month ago. I've got two sons, and the oldest boy seems to be doing good with the divorce. He graduated high school last year, moved on, went to the Air Force, left home pretty quick, which is all right. You know, as a young man, he's got to go out and forge his own life path. But the youngest boy is having a hard time, a very hard time. And, you know, I kind of thought that when the ink was dry on the divorce decree, I always assumed everything was cut and dried and done. Well, that's not necessarily true. I've had two instances with my young son where things got so heated, so bad that we had physical altercation, like we was gonna throw down and fight. And the second instance happened, like I said, 3 weeks ago. I'm at home minding my own business. It's, you know, I'm early to bed anymore. I mean, I'm 46 years old. Kind of a morning person, and the reason that is I like to get out, and especially in the springtime here in Nebraska, April, May is great for fishing. You get up at 6:30, you're out on the lake by 7:30, and you're catching fish. So I kind of like the fact that, you know, I go to bed early, but in this particular instance, I went to bed early because I thought I was going to work at dark 30 that night. And so the evening started out. My youngest boy texted me. He was already upset at his mom. He gave me some bullshit story that, well, mom's gonna make me go to church in the morning and I don't want to go, and if it's all right, can I stay with you? And of course, thinking that I had to go to work in the next couple hours, I told him, I said, no son, I can't help you out there, bud. And he got madder and madder. And so anyway, at 11:45 that Saturday night, I thought the ex-wife had it taken care of, because I texted her and I said, really? I said, and it come down to him finally saying, well, mom wants me to pack for 2 weeks and she's dropped me off at your place. And again, I reiterated, well, I can't have you down here for 2 weeks, because I said, I'll be working during those 2 weeks off and on. I said, I can't have you down here for 2 solid weeks. Unless I'm supposed to drive you back out to mom's whenever I gotta go to work. And so, and I thought it was a done deal. So I laid back down, and he says some other crap like, well, I'm giving you a second chance, you know, we can go do things together and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, we still can, but I can't do that right now. And so I texted the ex-wife. I said, well, what's the play here? I said, you really going to bring him down here for 2 weeks knowing that I got to work? And of course she doesn't respond. And then I figured when she doesn't respond, she's taking care of it, handling it as she sees fit. I got some good marks on the fish finder, but nothing wants night crawlers on jigs and snow hooks today. But anyways, so I assume she's got it handled, and so I lay back down, and about 15-20 minutes later I hear 2 thuds outside my front door. My bedroom is right above the entryway door at my house, and I hear 2 thuds, and I'm like, what is that? And so I get up, and it's my youngest boy throwing his 2 suitcases across my porch toward the front door, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? So I get up, throw some shorts on, head downstairs. I meet him at the front door. He's sobbing like a little baby, crying and mad. He's fit to be tied. And I said, it's like, let me in. And he's crying, and I said, yeah, come on in, what's going on, tell me all about it. And And he's cursing, dropping the F-bomb, cussing at me, and he says, I need to go for a walk. I said, yeah, by all means, go for a walk it off. When you get back, we'll discuss what's going on. So in the meantime, I'm trying to get a hold of the ex-wife, and I'm like, okay, what's the play here? Ooh, I have something. Hold on, peeps. I got something here. It's kind of light tackle. We'll see what comes up here. Hopefully something worth eating. I think this is a blue cat, but I'm not sure until I get him up here in the net. I don't want him destroying my shit. That's a nice cat. That is a nice cat. That's not what I want, but Jesus. Oh, I always love messing with these. I'll be right back. All right, peeps. Got a decent catfish here. Nice little cat that will throw back on light tackle. All right, I'm back. That catfish snapped me off there, and I got him in the, trying to take him out of the net. But anyways, a lot of activity down below. Okay, where was I? So anyways, kid takes off, goes for a walk. Walk it off. I said, come back, we'll talk about it. And I tried to call his mom, no answer. Left a voicemail indicating the fact that I couldn't have him here tonight because I was going to go to work here in a few hours. And she calls me back like 5 minutes later. Oh, I'll turn around and come back and get him. I didn't realize you had to go to work. And I said, yeah. I said, I let the kid know I had to work, that I couldn't have him down. I said, I'm sorry he didn't tell you. So she came down about the same time he came back to my place, and then he was instructed by his mom and I more than a handful of times to get his things, load back up in her vehicle, and head back out to her place. Simple instructions, but since he was already fit to be tied, he was very angry. He didn't want to hear it, didn't want nothing to do with it, didn't listen to what he was being instructed to do. He ended up chest bumping me, telling me, what are you going to do about it? I'm not going to get my stuff. You get my things if you want me out of here. And it finally escalated to the point where it got physical. He called the cops on me. And from 11:45 until 12:45, the start of the next day, this crap was going on. Cops came over, 2 officers showed up, separate vehicles. One officer pulled him aside, interviewed him. One officer interviewed me and the ex-wife. We told him our side of the story as the other officer was getting his side of the story. And it was just a shit show from the get-go. So for a whole hour this went on, and he finally got his things. I told his mom, I says, you know, he's not allowed down here until he apologizes to me with utmost respect and sincerity. He came down to my house, disrespected me in my home, became physically aggressive towards me, which I'm thinking, little dude, you're crazy. You know, I'm the last guy you want to try to throw down with. But anyways, we went home, went our separate ways. I went back up to bed. I was so mad that I couldn't go back to sleep right away. I didn't go back to sleep till 5:15, and then till about 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I didn't end up going to work till it was about 8:30 that morning. So I functioned on an hour and a half of sleep with that. So the moral of the story, guys, is you're not the only one going through this. You're really not. I realize I'm not the only one going through it. I told the officer that interviewed me and the ex-wife, I said, you know, I believe I'm being parentally alienated here. I said, anytime he gets mad at the world, I'm his outlet for his anger. I says, I don't know what I've done in the past to make him this way. He won't talk to me. He won't, you know, I ask him, thinking, you know, am I doing something wrong? It's a behavior I might have to correct, but as a father, I don't think I've done anything wrong. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but if things aren't brought to my attention to correct my behavior, then I don't know what's going on. I just take it as, you know, the divorce isn't going over well with him. He's very infuriated at something and lashes out at me for it. And but anyways, guys, I understand I'm not the only one going through this. I know of other guys that are going through the same thing. Again, I have this every other weekend parental plan where I have my kid supposedly 4 days a month, but he has not, since February, he has not stayed at all, and he has not stayed the night with me at all since February. So a good 6 months now. And because back in February we had a similar altercation, but it was not as bad. The cops weren't called. He's the one that called 911 a few weeks back with our second altercation. And the ex-wife says, well, I've not seen that behavior before. And I says, hey, look, I said, this is what I get when he's around me. And I says, if I tell him no on anything, he flips his lid. A lot of it is it could be the divorce, but like I told the officer, I said, you know, I said he thinks he's entitled to the world, and yet when the world doesn't deliver, he gets really pissed off and angry about it. And then instead of looking in the mirror and asking himself, what can I do to better my own situation, he takes it out on me, the people that tell him no. And I said it's not right that I have to be the brunt of this stuff, but I said at the same time he's got to learn a lesson. And so him and I haven't spoken since then, which is all right, because I hate to say it, but I've kind of written him out until he can apologize to me about his behavior and about having the cops involved. This was a family matter. I'm fairly confident we could have resolved this as a family that night, but he chose to get the cops involved. And so I felt that every interaction from here on out, I'm gonna have to record. And I did have my little GoPro Hero 10 out there recording, but I was a day late and $1 short. I should have had it out there when all this stuff started. But I got a little bit of footage of the ex-wife and I talking to one of the officers. But like I said, I'm done with it. I've moved on. I've learned that, you know, I'll always have my door open to him as long as his first intention is to come down and apologize. But anyways, guys, you're not alone in this. I realize I'm not alone in this. I've shared this story with a couple other people. Believe me, there's times that you feel like, damn, I'm alone here, when really you're not. I mean, and this is what we get with the current way family law is handling divorce. When they remove the guy from the home and replace him with money instead of his presence, this is what happens. We're raising a society, a generation of young men that are going to be very frustrated and angry at the world, and they never had a father figure or a dad around because he was removed from the home in divorce. You know, when we celebrate single moms, you know, single moms are the best, single moms are great. No, they're not. They are not the greatest thing since sliced bread. That's misrepresentation. It's misled. Guys, trust me, you're not the only one going through this. And I'd really like to hear similar stories of guys going through the same thing I went through. I think it's time we bring these issues to light, address them, and maybe somebody that higher up above us that cares can make changes to the family law court system. It's not fair. It is not fair for a dad to not have access to his kids more than 4 days a month. It's bullshit, and it needs to change. Otherwise, if it doesn't change, we're going to continue raising a generation upon generation of degenerate men that will be more violent. You know, they'll resort to violence to try to resolve their anger, and that's not good to have. And that's one thing I worry about with my youngest kid. You know, he's got a girlfriend now. You know, if they continue dating and in a year or two they try to explore sex and she says no, what's going to happen? Is he going to get mad at her? Is he going to get violent towards her? Is he going to beat her up? That is the end. That would be the end game for all this. And so, guys, you're not alone. You're not alone. And as long as we have a welfare state that takes care of these single moms with either government money or daddy money, you know, such as alimony or child support, this behavior will continue to go on with our children, especially our young men. Boys need their fathers more than ever during their teenage years. These are the years where I was, as a dad, would be developing my sons to become young men. You know, let's talk about a plan of action for when you graduate high school. What do you want to do in life? It's our chance to talk about women, how to address sex, how to address careers and success. This is where men are critical in this stage in their life. Women are not critical in this stage in their life. They are not. Regardless to contrary beliefs, what Oprah Winfrey says or whoever, Disney, Facebook, whatever, young boys, this is their years where they need the most guidance from a strong, masculine male figure, such as their father. And yet, guys like me are being removed from the home, and we're being replaced with pretty much wealth redistribution, a socialist program. Okay, dad has to leave the house and divorce, but by God, we're going to put him on the hook for child support and or alimony. And guys, that's not fair. I don't mind paying the child support, but I don't agree with the custody agreement I currently have. So I want to see some stories. Put them in the comments. If you like this video, please subscribe. Until next time, take it easy, and we'll catch you on the next one. Toodles.